motivation is a scam. I know that sounds harsh, especially coming from a channel like this. But stay with me, because what I'm about to tell you might be the most honest thing you've heard in a long time. And if you clicked on this video, I think part of you already knows it's true. Let me ask you something. How many motivational videos have you watched this month? 10? 20? More than you can count? How many times have you felt that fire in your chest? That surge of energy? That voice inside saying, "This is it. Tomorrow I'm going to change everything." And how many times did tomorrow look exactly like today? I'm not asking to make you feel bad. I'm asking because I've been there for years. I was addicted to motivation. I consumed it like it was oxygen. Every morning, a new speech. Every night, a new video promising to unlock my potential. I had playlists, favorites, speakers I followed religiously. And you know what? My life didn't change. Not really. Not in the ways that mattered. Sure, I felt good for an hour, maybe two. Then that feeling faded, and I was right back where I started. Scrolling, searching, looking for the next video that would finally fix me. Here's what I eventually realized. Motivation isn't the cure. It's the drug. And like any drug, it gives you a temporary high, makes you feel powerful, makes you feel like anything is possible. But then it wears off, and you need another hit, and another, and another. And the whole time, nothing in your actual life is changing. You're just chasing a feeling, not building a life. Now, before you click away thinking I'm about to lecture you, I'm not. I'm going to tell you a story, my story, and somewhere in it, you might see yourself. And then I'm going to tell you what actually works. Not theory, not philosophy, something I learned the hard way after wasting years looking for shortcuts that didn't exist. Sound fair? Good. Let's go. I was 23 when I discovered motivational content. I was broke, confused, working a job I hated, living in an apartment that smelled like mold and regret. My friends were all moving forward, getting promotions, getting married, buying houses. And I was stuck, watching everyone else live the life I wanted while I couldn't figure out how to start. I remember the exact moment. It was 2 a.m. I couldn't sleep. I was scrolling through videos and I stumbled on a speech. Some guy talking about success and mindset and becoming unstoppable. And something happened inside me. My chest got tight, my eyes got wet. I felt like he was talking directly to me, like he understood something about me that no one else did. I watched for an hour, then 2. By 4 a.m, I had filled an entire notebook with quotes and ideas and plans. I was going to change everything. I set my alarm for 5 a.m. I was going to start waking up early, work out, read, build an empire. You know what happened? I hit snooze 4 times. Woke up late for work, felt guilty the entire day, and that night I watched more motivational videos to make myself feel better about failing. That became the cycle. Get inspired, make plans, fail, feel bad, get inspired again, repeat. for years, literal years. And here's the thing, nobody tells you the motivation industry is designed to keep you coming back. Think about it. If one video actually fixed your life, you wouldn't need another one. The channel would lose a viewer, the algorithm would lose engagement, the whole system would collapse. So the content is designed to inspire you just enough to feel something, but not enough to actually change. It gives you the emotion without the transformation, the feeling of progress without actual progress. It's like watching workout videos and calling it exercise, like reading about meditation and calling it peace, like planning to change and calling it change. The consumption becomes the accomplishment, and you trick yourself into thinking you're moving forward when you're actually just standing still. I know because I did this for years. I was the person who could give advice to everyone else but couldn't follow it myself. I knew all the right things to say. I had no idea how to actually live them. And you keep coming back because the feeling is addictive, because it's easier to feel motivated than to actually do the work. I'm not saying the speakers are bad people. Most of them genuinely want to help. But the system is broken. It's built on a lie. The lie that feeling ready is the same as being ready. The lie that emotion leads to action. It doesn't. Let me tell you when things actually changed for me. I was 27, 4 years into this cycle, and I hit bottom. Not rock bottom in the dramatic sense. I wasn't homeless. I wasn't on drugs. From the outside, I looked fine. But inside, I was hollow. I had watched thousands of hours of motivational content. I had notebooks full of goals, vision boards, affirmations taped to my mirror. And I was in the exact same place I was 4 years earlier. Same job, same apartment, same life. I remember sitting in my car after work one night, just sitting there, engine off, staring at nothing. I was 30 pounds overweight. My savings account had $8 in it. I had told my family I was working on something big for 4 years and had nothing to show for it. And the worst part, I had all this knowledge, all these quotes memorized, all these speeches I could recite word for word. I knew exactly what I was supposed to do, I just never did it. I sat there for maybe an hour, and at some point, I started crying. Not dramatic crying, just this quiet, exhausted release. Because I finally admitted something I had been hiding from myself. The motivational content wasn't helping me. It was hiding me from the real work, from the uncomfortable truth that I was using inspiration as a substitute for action. And this thought hit me. What if the problem isn't that I haven't found the right motivation? What if the problem is that I keep looking for motivation at all? What if the search itself is the trap? That question changed everything. See, here's what I figured out. Motivation is an emotion, and emotions are unreliable. They come and go like weather. You can't control when they show up. You can't force them to stay. Building your life on motivation is like building your house on sand. The moment the storm comes, it all falls apart. But there's something else, something that doesn't depend on how you feel, something that works whether you're inspired or exhausted, confident or terrified. And that something is what I want to share with you now. If you're still watching, you're serious. You're not here for entertainment. You want something real. So let me give it to you. The thing that actually works is identity. Not motivation, identity. Let me explain. Motivation asks, how do I get myself to do this thing? Identity asks, who is the person who does this thing naturally? Motivation is about forcing yourself to act against your nature. Identity is about changing your nature so the action becomes natural. This sounds abstract. Let me make it real. Say you want to get healthy, lose weight, exercise more. The motivation approach says, watch videos that pump you up. Tell yourself you can do it. Force yourself to the gym when you don't want to go. White knuckle your way through until you eventually give up. The identity approach says, become a person who values their health. Start thinking of yourself as someone who takes care of their body. Make decisions from that identity. See the difference? With motivation, you're fighting yourself. Every day is a battle between what you want to do and what you should do. With identity, there's no fight because you're not forcing yourself to act against who you are. You're acting from who you are. Let me give you another example. Say you want to quit smoking. The motivation approach says, watch videos about the dangers of smoking, scare yourself into quitting, use willpower to resist cravings, feel guilty when you fail, try again next month. The identity approach says, I'm not a smoker, smokers smoke. That's not who I am. When someone offers you a cigarette, you don't say, no thanks, I'm trying to quit. You say, no thanks, I don't smoke. One sentence is fighting who you are, the other is stating who you are. That's not a small difference. That's everything. Or say you want to be more disciplined with money. The motivation approach says, watch videos about wealth. Get pumped about being rich, make a budget you'll abandon in 2 weeks. The identity approach says, I'm someone who respects money. I'm someone who builds wealth slowly. I'm someone who thinks before spending. When you see something you want to buy, you don't ask, can I afford this? You ask, is this what someone like me buys? The question changes. And when the question changes, the answer changes too. Let me give you an example from my own life. For years, I tried to become a writer. I wanted to write. I had ideas. I knew it was important for what I wanted to build, but I couldn't make myself do it consistently. I'd get motivated, write for a few days, then stop, then feel guilty, then watch a video about discipline, then write for a few more days, then stop again. Sound familiar? The breakthrough came when I stopped trying to write and started becoming a writer. I changed my internal story. Instead of, I'm someone who wants to write, it became, I'm a writer. This is what I do. And here's the strange part. Once I made that shift, the motivation question disappeared. I didn't have to force myself to write anymore. Writers write. That's what they do. I'm a writer, so I write. No battle, no resistance, just action that flows from identity. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds nice, but how do I actually change my identity? I can't just decide to be someone different. Actually, you can. Here's how identity actually works. Your identity isn't some fixed thing you were born with. It's a story you tell yourself based on evidence you've collected. Every action you take is a vote for the person you're becoming. Eat a salad? That's a vote for, I'm someone who eats healthy. Skip the gym? That's a vote for, I'm someone who doesn't prioritize fitness. Write for 10 minutes? That's a vote for, I'm a writer. Watch Netflix instead? That's a vote for, I'm someone who consumes, not creates. You don't change your identity through motivation. You change it through repeated action. Small actions, tiny votes, cast consistently over time. Each vote by itself is nothing. But 1,000 votes in the same direction, that's a new identity. And here's the beautiful part. You don't need motivation to cast small votes. You don't need to feel inspired to do 10 push-ups. You don't need a surge of energy to write one paragraph. You don't need to be in the zone to drink a glass of water instead of soda. These actions are so small that motivation becomes irrelevant. And yet, each one is a vote. Each one shifts your identity a tiny bit. Each one builds evidence that you are the person you want to become. This is what actually works. Not big dramatic transformations fueled by temporary emotion. Small, consistent actions that compound into a new identity. If this is making sense, if something is clicking right now, drop a comment. Just the word identity. Let me know this landed for you. Now, let me tell you what happened when I made this shift. I stopped watching motivational videos. Cold turkey. Deleted my playlists. Unfollowed the channels. At first, it felt weird, like quitting caffeine. I had this itch to get inspired, to feel that rush. But I resisted because I finally understood that the rush was the problem. Instead, I focused on one thing. Every day, I asked myself, what is one small action I can take that votes for the person I want to become? That's it. One action, one vote. Some days it was writing one sentence. Some days it was 10 push-ups. Some days it was just making my bed. Embarrassingly small, nothing to post about, nothing impressive. But here's what happened. After a month, I noticed I didn't have to think about it as much. The actions were becoming automatic. After 3 months, I started to feel different. Not motivated, different. Like the identity was actually shifting. After a year, people started commenting, asking what changed, saying I seemed like a different person. And I was, not because I found better motivation, but because I stopped relying on motivation altogether. The weight came off, not through some intense program, through small votes every day for a year. The savings account grew, not through some windfall, through small votes every day for a year. The career shifted, not through some lucky break, through small votes every day for a year. None of it was dramatic. None of it made for a good before and after story. But all of it was real, and all of it lasted. Because it wasn't built on motivation that fades. It was built on identity that stays. Here's something else I learned. The voice that tells you to wait until you feel ready, that voice is lying. Ready is a myth. you will never feel ready. Not really. There will always be a reason to wait, a better time, a better mood, a better moment. Successful people aren't people who waited until they felt ready. They're people who acted before they felt ready, and the action created the readiness. Think about something you've been putting off, something you've been waiting to feel motivated to do. What if you just started right now, today, without the feeling? What if the feeling comes after the action, not before? That's what I discovered. The motivation I was waiting for, it shows up after I start, not before. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Let me address something you might be thinking. If motivation is a scam, why are you making this video? Isn't this motivational content? Fair question. Here's my answer. I'm not trying to motivate you. I'm trying to tell you the truth. I'm not trying to pump you up so you feel good for an hour. I'm trying to show you something that actually works, even when you feel nothing. The test of whether this message worked isn't how you feel right now. It's what you do tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that. If you watch this and feel inspired but do nothing, I've failed. If you watch this and feel nothing but take one small action, we've both won. So here's what I want you to take away. Stop chasing motivation. It's a trap. It keeps you feeling good while staying stuck. Instead, focus on identity. Ask yourself, who is the person I want to become? Then ask, what would that person do today, right now, in this moment? And do it, no matter how small, no matter how you feel. One vote, one action, one tiny piece of evidence that you are becoming who you want to be. That's it. That's the secret nobody's selling. Because it doesn't get clicks, it doesn't trigger dopamine, it doesn't make you feel like a superhero, but it works. It actually genuinely, undeniably works. And I know part of you is resisting this. Part of you wants to argue, wants to say, but I need motivation to start. I need to feel something before I can act. I get it. I said the same thing for years. But here's what I wish someone had told me earlier. That resistance, that voice telling you to wait until you feel ready, that's the trap talking. That's the addiction trying to keep you hooked. The only way out is through. Not through feeling, through action. Let me be honest with you about something else. This isn't easy. I'm not going to pretend that identity change is simple or fast. It's not. There will be days when you don't want to cast the vote. Days when the old patterns feel easier. Days when you wonder if any of this matters. Those days are the most important ones. Because those are the days when your vote counts double. Anyone can act when they feel good. It takes something deeper to act when you feel nothing. I remember a morning about 3 months into this new approach. I woke up and I felt nothing. No energy, no desire, no reason to do anything. The old me would have searched for a video, something to kickstart the feeling, something to make me want to do the work. But I didn't. I just got up, made my bed, wrote 1 sentence, did 10 push-ups. And here's what I noticed. I didn't feel better, not really, but I felt something else. Respect for myself. I had proven that I wasn't controlled by my feelings. that I could act from identity, not emotion. That's when I knew something had actually changed. And every time you do this, you prove to yourself that you're not dependent on motivation anymore, that you're not a slave to your emotions, that you can build a life through choice, not feeling. That's freedom, real freedom. Let me tell you what happens to people who never make this shift. I've seen it. I almost became it. They're 40, 50, 60 years old, still watching motivational content, still planning to change, still waiting for the right moment, the right mood, the right inspiration. And they have this quiet desperation in their eyes, this sense that life passed them by while they were preparing to start living. They know all the quotes. They can tell you about every speaker, every book, every system, but they never actually did anything because they were always waiting to feel ready, and ready never came. That's where the motivation trap leads. Not to success, to regret, to looking back at your life and realizing you spent decades feeling inspired instead of being transformed. I refuse to let that be you. And if you're still watching, I think you refuse to let that be you too. I want to share one more thing before we end. The irony of my life is that I now make content that could be called motivational. And I've thought about that a lot, whether I'm just doing the same thing I criticized. Here's what I've come to. There's a difference between content that makes you feel good and content that makes you think differently. The first is entertainment disguised as growth. The second is uncomfortable truths that actually change something. I try to make the second kind. I don't always succeed, but that's the goal. And I'm telling you this because I want you to be discerning, not just with my content, but with everything you consume. Ask yourself, is this making me feel good, or is this making me different? Is less than #0. 5 hash is greater than. If it's just making you feel good, be careful. You might be feeding an addiction without realizing it. If any of this hits you, if you're tired of the cycle, if you're ready to try something that actually works, tell me in the comments. What's the first small vote you're going to cast today? Be specific, write it down, make it real. So here's where we are. Motivation is an emotion. Emotions are unreliable. Building your life on unreliable foundations leads to collapse. Identity is different. Identity is who you are when no one's watching. It's the story you tell yourself about yourself. And it can be changed through small, consistent actions. Stop trying to motivate yourself into action. Start acting yourself into a new identity. One vote at a time, one day at a time, until the person you want to become is simply who you are. That's the real work, the quiet work, the work that nobody sees but everyone eventually notices. It's not sexy, it doesn't make for a viral video, but it's what actually changes lives, including mine, and maybe starting today, including yours. Now, I want to share something with you. A lot of what I just talked about, the identity work, the small votes, the consistency, I learned it in the hardest classroom there is. Loss. There was a woman in my life who taught me more about strength than any speech ever could. Not through words, through how she lived. She lost the man she loved, and she had to rebuild everything. Her identity, her purpose, her reason to get up in the morning. And watching her do it, watching her cast those small votes every single day when everything inside her wanted to give up, that's what showed me what real strength looks like. The next video is called Life Without the Man She Loved. It's not motivational. It's something deeper. It's about what happens when life takes everything from you and you have to find out who you are without the person who defines so much of your world. If you're going through something like that, if you know someone who is, or if you just want to understand what real rebuilding looks like, that video is waiting for you. Thank you for staying this long. Most people click away. Most people want the quick fix, the instant transformation, the feeling without the work. But you stayed. And that tells me something about you. It tells me you're tired of the cycle, tired of feeling good without changing, tired of inspiration that leads nowhere. And it tells me you're ready for something real, even if it's harder, even if it takes longer, even if it doesn't feel as good in the moment. That readiness is rare. Don't waste it. Now go cast your first vote. I'll see you in the next one.